record. So we'll have this, and we are now letting people in. So welcome everyone. This is Adam Beebe. I'm the broker for the website that we're going to be talking about today. It's weddingbandsforboth.com. I'm joined by the seller, owner, Austin Phillips. Austin, please say hi.
How's it going?
Thank you for joining us, and I'm making sure I see some attendees here, just making sure that they're properly in. Everyone listening other than Austin and I are going to be on mute, but this is a little housekeeping. If you haven't done so already, you can dial into the audio bridge. You can also use your computer's audio. Again, he and I are going to be the only ones able to speak. But if anyone else on this call, if you want to ask questions of Austin or to Austin, you ask him through me in the chat functionality to go to meetings. So he'll either be handling those questions when we talk about that section proactively. If it's not addressed, then it'll get asked verbatim. I'll also do a last call for questions at the very end before I show my information. But without further ado, what we have here is an e-commerce site that you can see all the financials for on Latona's. This was taken directly from Latona's. It's the annual revenue, cost of goods sold, expenses, and then the trailing 12 months of profit there, $35,400. And anyone can see the monthly data for each of the revenue, COGS, expenses, and uniques and page views. Just by logging into your Latona's account, it'll break that down. If you want to see a prospectus on the site, it's completed, and you can request from me just by hitting the I think it's request prospectus, whatever it is. You click that, I get an email, and I'll make sure you have an NDA in-house. If you don't, I'll get one signed from you, and I can send that prospectus to you. So Austin, as I mentioned before the call, let's have you spend, and there's 3 slides here. So we've got the history, we've got, then if you would talk about more of the history of the social media, and then we can go back to the archive.org, the Wayback Machine. Tell us about the history of the site as far as, are you the sole, did you start the site yourself? Did you program it yourself? And then go to and blend into what kind of social media presence and how long that's been and the history of that. I'll put myself on mute. I'll let you take it away.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Yeah. So wedding bands for both. It started a couple years ago, back in 2013. It was actually being run by another gentleman that was an acquaintance of mine, both kind of in a similar industry with e-commerce, working on other sites. I really liked the site that was up and running, and you'll see in the next slide, you can also check in Wayback Machine in 2013, the site looked completely different, as most sites do when you first start. I took over the site. I kind of want to make it my own, put my own little touch on it, and how I kind of operate my e-commerce side of the business. So I am the full owner. I run it myself. It's a straight e-commerce platform based off of BigCommerce, and we have one original version of the site, and then we revamped it all. Put a new theme on it. About beginning of 2014, maybe very end of 2013, and that's where we really started to see things take off a little bit, hopefully attributing to the layout of the theme, and then just gaining traction as well with some of our organic marketing methods. But yeah, so the next slide will show you kind of how we started off with our own site. We started off with just getting a lot of our stuff indexing on Google, and then for us, a natural progression was getting into some of the social media side. So our probably our biggest or our larger social media account is our Facebook page. Everything's been organic. The people that have liked this and interacted with our page. We also do have a Pinterest account that we mainly use just for getting some of our content distribution out there. But Facebook has really been our only tool that we've utilized. I know there's a lot of other ones we could have. But that's been a great play for us on whenever we distribute content. Actually, that's mainly our biggest thing is when we distribute content that goes on the social media pages. One for kind of organic link building, and then the other just to try to keep interaction. We haven't done too much on the any type of promotions that we'd offer to people that have liked our page. We haven't actually gone down that route or remarketing route, which I'm sure we'll touch in a little later. But it's mainly just used as a verification for a lot of people that are shopping online. They get to see that who we are on social media. I've had people request send us messages and be like, hey, just making sure you're real, things like that. So it's it's a good asset that we've had. But you also see, if you do get a chance for the history of the site, just check out Wayback Machine. You can kind of see that we've been around for a long time, or in internet e-commerce years, a long time. It's not a pop-up site or anything with inflated, whatever behind it. It's been a steady progression, and yeah, you can check out some of our old stuff back there. But yeah, so that's the history of kind of where we came from, where we're at. The site itself evolves. It's not too much hand-holding on the site. It's more of just new products coming out, updating on that end. But haven't really changed the structure of the theme or anything like that for a little while. It still stays pretty current with the current look in the industry out there for e-commerce.
Okay, the aforementioned muting.
And do you want me to go?
Yeah, and I'm sorry, that was the aforementioned muting. Everyone listening has Google Analytics on the site. You can see in the upper right, this covers November 2nd, 2014 to December 2nd, 2015. Some spikes. I would think there are spikes, and I don't see them right off, and some of it's also a function of the operation of the site. Busy times, and I guess wedding months, or when are those spikes? Is that wedding months? I almost thought that it'd be around Christmas, but then I said more weddings happen elsewhere, or other periods. What are the spikes attributable to?
Yeah, that's a great question. We've are going into this. I initially thought it was kind of a seasonal business, as in people, like when people buy rings, they it's usually in the winter time, as they're getting engaged and getting prepared, and in the springtime. That's kind of what my initial thought. So we'll see some gradual spikes that way, but for the most part, we've actually seen just a really kind of steady flow. As in, I mean, one of our customers the other day is they're getting married in 2 weeks, and they just haven't thought about it, and they need a ring, and we were on the phone with them. So it was we get people that are all through the timing of when they're getting engaged to when the wedding comes up. But sometimes with the spikes, mainly is when I attribute to like releasing a piece of content. And usually that's just a nice blog article that we'll try to promote, and that gets out there, and that helps with some of our long tail search rankings. And then seasonality does play a little bit, but I mean that's basically kind of the spikes that we'll kind of see attributed to some of those factors.
Okay, and I think I'm going to keep myself off mute now. And this is good. The vast majority of the traffic comes from the U.S. Are you currently trying to do anything else elsewhere, other countries?
No, we don't promote anywhere else. We do ship internationally, which usually we charge a shipping fee for that. It's about $35. We do see for international orders, we have seen the bulk probably from Australia and Canada as being the most, you know, the biggest way, we've seen the international side go, but we have not actively promoted it there. It's just people coming across, us online, researching us, and kind of reaching out. Sometimes they'll reach out and be like, "Hey, do you ship international?" Or they'll just go ahead and purchase and add on that shipping, and we get it out there as quickly as possible.
Okay. And I'm monitoring any questions that come in. You're handling some of them just within the general flow of the conversation. Anyone who has since joined, you can type in your questions in the chat functionality of the GoToMeeting. Vast majority here direct. What are you doing to increase the social media presence?
Yeah, that's something I just am trying to learn or to do. If other people are really good at it, then I think social media is a really big play we have not tapped into. It's we have our likes and our followers and whatnot, but I mean we haven't gone after them for any type of remarketing or coupons or discounts or referrals or anything like that, which that's probably a fault on our part. But yeah, I think that's kind of like a whole second side of the business is the social side. Um, we've dabbled a little bit on the Facebook side. We put a retargeting code on the site, so that kind of fills in a bucket on the Facebook side. And then we, ran a few just kind of, I think our last ad was like, or we've only done like one or two, but it was more like, it was more around our wooden rings because our wood rings on the site do really well because they're very unique and custom, or not, I wouldn't say custom, but I mean they are very, it tailors to a specific buyer. So we try to target them on Facebook, and it got shared a lot and liked, and a lot of different stuff, and we got good residual traffic back to the site. So that was kind of like a test, and if anyone wants to see that ad and see how it's done, and I think we got like it was a super cheap run too. It was like 20 cents a click or something like that. So that was it. Just kind of showed the possibilities, but for ongoing social media, what have we done? Just our normal stuff is whenever we write a blog post or some type of content, we'll post it on social media, just like everyone else does. But as for going after like more business socially, we have not really tapped into it. Just that one ad we ran that pointed back to the site for our wooden rings, and then yeah, that's kind of it for social.
I'm sorry. I'm multitasking as it relates to questions that come in, and
We're good.
keywords are right there that you can see. And I can pull back up the listing as far as AdWords, paying for any of these. What is your experience with that?
Yeah, great question. So back to kind of my old or my last comment about the seasonality of the business. Usually around this time, and we'll run a small campaign for PPC on the Google Shopping side, which is where the pictures come up when you type in a product. We try to target the long tail keywords, as you can see, actually right there in the analytics. I think where the site's benefited the most is people finding our products after they've done a lot of research online. So instead of someone just typing in like men's wedding band or something like that, where it's so general, they research, they find things out, that they find out that they want a tungsten green camouflage wedding band, right? So, there's only going to be a few providers out there like us, and they find us either organically or through PPC. So my theory with PPC was let's see how we do on the pay-per-click side. My experience with it has been 50-50. I don't know if I'm the best PPC person out there. I think it definitely, we didn't lose money, which was great, and I think from what I read, that's the whole concept of PPC is if you can spend X amount of dollars and make X, and you just kind of scale from there. That's been, I guess, the overall goal. So I mean, our profit margins were or are anywhere between like 40 to 50% per order, depending on if they do engraving or shipping and whatnot. But on the PVC side, that got cut in half. But I mean, some people tell me that's a good thing because you can, just create more business that way. But we just never really got heavy into it. I mean, whenever we do a PPC run, like I think we're going to start one probably this month. We'll spend from like $200 to $300, just putting it out there, making sure we're getting traffic back to the site. People either buy or, then my theory was we capture them in the remarketing side that fills up the Facebook bucket, and then, try to target them that way. Haven't got that far, but that's definitely an avenue we'd like to look at a little more.
Okay. Well, that's fine. We covered that. Desktop, mobile, tablet, fully responsive. Any issues with the site?
No, I have never had any. I mean, maybe a little like a year ago, we had someone that couldn't check out, but I think that was due to like their credit card or something. But yeah, I've never had any comments where they've had issues with the site. One thing I'm looking at now. I just came across the abandoned shopping cart, which I didn't know I could look at, which is awesome, and which is you could see all the people that have filled their cart and not purchased and whatnot. So I mean that was cool to kind of see. It's like, all right, that's a big opportunity right there to go back at them, but not that attributes to any issues with the site. So, but I thought that was when I was researching that I came across that. But yeah, I haven't had any issues with the site responsive or anything like that.
Okay. Have you paid for any backlinks?
Yeah, we brought on a SEO provider maybe like 6 months ago, and we brought them on just for a few months, and they did backlinking for us, those types of things. So when we first started the site, we did SEO, like on-page SEO, and we just did a bunch of manual links for the wedding industry and whatnot. We just kind of grinded that out for the first couple months, which seemed to work out. And then I decided this year, I think it was about 6 months ago, and I have the reports if people want to see them, to hire someone to do link building for us. So that worked out pretty well. I mean, they did whatever SEO people do and the links they built. I didn't see like a crazy increase or decrease, but for me, I think it was probably just good just to kind of build up the foundation again, and to make sure that all the rankings we do have and keywords that are indexing just kind of stay up there. That Google kind of sees us making an effort. So, yep.
Okay. This is available. Anyone can go look at that at Majestic SEO as well as this one. Any of these wedding window, any of these sites worth talking about in your opinion?
Not really. I mean, they're kind of just, yeah. I mean, those look like some of the links that they built a little while back. Um, yeah, which September, that makes sense. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, those look like just standard links that we're sharing content on, getting ourselves out there.
Okay.
Good press flow though.
Again, what we're pulling is publicly available information, this one being obviously from SEMrush. Um, we can see that the amount or the price of the traffic has gone up over the past year here. What do you attribute that to?
For traffic,
Well, it would actually be just for the terms that you're ranking for. So wedding bands for both.
right?
Well, it's for the site itself. If someone were to come in, and as you know, if someone were to come in and buy all the traffic that you have, the worth of
Hmm.
that traffic has gone up per this graph, as you can see. Can you attribute
Right.
that to anything?
I like to say for us, so I think we set up the site really well, and we set up our blog uh, really well, where the content we write about and how we distribute it, it seems to really work for us. It seems to really because a lot of these excuse me, a lot of these rings and things we work on, like long tail searches, things like that. If we keep writing about them, a lot of companies don't rank for them, if that makes sense. So I mean, we're able to get our blog posts, our content out there, pretty high and pretty indexing pretty well. So I mean, we've seen a steady increase. The more
Everyone listening, there appears to be, and Austin, if you're still here, I can't hear you. So you're probably going to want to call back in.
more what
There's
they,
some. Are you there?
what, yeah, I'm here. You got me.
Yeah, I got you now. You go ahead and continue. I couldn't hear you for a few minutes. Can you hear me? Okay, Austin, I'm having some issues here with you. Everyone stay patient if you would. Austin, are you there?
I am here. I was muted for some reason.
I just muted you, actually. I didn't mute you. I muted you like 10 seconds ago. I don't know prior to that what happened, but let's move forward.
No, it
Um,
sounds good. Yeah, I was saying is if you go on SEMrush, you can see a lot of the keywords that we're ranking for, the URLs that they're ranking for, those types of things. So we really try to build that out as much as possible. I have my theory is I rather rank for a lot of long tail good searches that are really directly correlated to our site and to our product than just these big monstrous terms that people don't really know what they're looking for yet. So I think that's what's attributed to it is just sticking with the content plan and releasing it, and showing Google that we're still proficient on exactly who what product we're working on.
okay. Any keywords you're really proud of?
Um, that's a good question. I mean, not off the top of my head. If I looked at it, I definitely would probably be impressed with what we have. We're ranking pretty high for like tungsten wedding bands for a while. I think we still are. We had our domain and our blog up there, so I mean that was a pretty big one. Uh, yeah, I mean, and nothing that really sticks out.
Okay. Well, what we have here, and you've been good, we have November data. already. First question is December shaping up to be at or slightly above than November as far as traffic? Have you tracked that yet? I know we're
Have not tracked it. I can probably log in right now
okay.
as we're talking.
Well, we
But
see in it, it would probably be, as you mentioned, we see a spike here in June.
mhm.
We're talking about, the low of being about 1100 and the high being about 2100 or 2175, whatever that is. So it's about a 50% variance there. Um, in June, did you do anything else, or was that solely the market?
Yeah, I think that was just a I mean, we didn't. I mean, to my recollection, we didn't do anything special or release anything new or unique. So
No worries. And if you have access to the analytics, I also, full disclosure, and just we do have that buyer who wanted to confirm he's been added. I sent you an email regarding it, but you can read the
oh,
email while you're in there. But um, page views are here. One would think that since June was high up in the uniques, the corresponding views would be, but that's not the case in this situation. You had a lot of views in September. Anything you can point to, or
September. I think September we did really good on our blog posting.
Mhm.
If I can, uh, if I can pull that up too. If I can recall, I try. I do my best to try to get on a schedule. Sometimes like most people, we don't. Um, but in September, I believe we did a bunch of blog postings and a bunch of social media releases with that. So sharing them, and we did a couple. If I recall, September, I think we boosted a couple of them for like $10, $15. So that, I mean, that could probably definitely correlate to that.
Okay, fair enough. And this awesome before the call is where we spoke what we spoke about. There's 7 slides here as it
Mm-hmm.
relates to the admin, the back end. So this is when I will put myself on mute. When you're done talking about a specific screenshot, just say next, and I'll know to
Okay.
advance it. I'll let you know after you talk about all the spreadsheets if you haven't addressed any questions that have come in. But let's start here. What's the site built on? And take it away.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Okay. Just looking at it right now. So which one are we on? Okay. So the site is built on BigCommerce. So it's one of the e-commerce platforms out there, like Shopify and WooCommerce and all that. For me, it's a pretty streamlined system. So order comes in, and this is basically kind of our main homepage that we see. So where we see everything that's kind of within this whole page pulls up like the last probably like month of orders. So we can kind of see which one's been shipped, fulfilled, awaiting fulfillment, and whatnot. So it gives you basic information when it was, who it is, you can kind of see next to some of the customers' names if they're a guest or not. What that means is if they check out as a guest, it's basically they just put their order in with their information. If they create an account, then they become a customer. So if you look up there where the tabs where it says orders, products, customers, web content, whatnot, if you go in customers and do a drop down, you can do a CSV file of all our customers that have given us all their information, which I believe there's about 200 in there, maybe 200 plus in there. And then the orders, which is like, almost 700 or something like that. So it's basically you can see the difference of how many people are guests and how many check out as guests and how many check out as customers. We capture their emails for all of them, obviously, for communication purposes. So that's just a little tip on there. But yeah, you'll see the pricing. We'll see little toggle right there. When you click it, it gives us all the information of what what they purchased and whatnot, and each information for each order is useful for how I order with my drop shipper. So that's which I can get into as we talk about these pages too. So this is one of the main pages, obviously, where you see the orders coming in, you see the amounts, and you see what on the admin side of ordering side, what we need to do if we need to fulfill it, ship it, if you have any people that are asking about return requests or anything like that. So, yeah, next slide can work. I'll try to follow along. Okay, so this is basically our products page on the BigCommerce platform. So this is where we can add products, take out products. I can see a lot with which one's being bought the most, which one's being bought the least. As you can see, like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, fifth one down, the wood tungsten ring. That one's probably been one of the more steady rings we've sold, just because it's got that unique look and people are always kind of interested in it. And people that, just so you know, people that buy off us are not just people that are looking for wedding bands. People just like the rings itself. So that was something I learned along the way. But yeah, so this is definitely the product page and how it all kind of operates and how to I like to look at this page and see, like, okay, what's being sold, what's not being sold, that type of thing. And it's good for PPC too. That the theory is good, is what to kind of promote and what not to kind of spend money on. And as you can see, our FedEx is our number 3 one, so that one's to Canada or something like that. So, but yeah, next slide works for me. Let's see, which one am I looking at here? I can't really see the data, but I believe this is the order history and conversion rate screen. As in, you pick a time frame, you see how many orders, you see what the gross revenue is, you kind of see what the conversion rate is and the average order size. So I look at this just to kind of see how my month-to-months are going on the gross revenue side. The per orders is usually similar. We have a few rings that are a little more expensive, so that could throw it a little bit. The conversion rate side, never really got too much into it, as in I never really knew what was good or bad, I guess I'd say. So I didn't really get into that too much, but yeah, so just gives you data on what to kind of if you wanted to get really heavy into the analytics side of BigCommerce. But ready for the next. Similar chart, similar graph. This is our purchase funnel, which goes into same thing with revenue, added to cart versus checkout. So this is something I think I did talk about this a little bit earlier, where our abandoned shopping cart, which I think is a huge avenue if took a little time to figure out how to remarket to them or figure that out, because as you can see, our added to cart and then versus how many checked out, it's definitely a different number. So that's an opportunity in there to kind of look into and see if someone can capitalize on that down the road. Ready for the next. Okay, cool. So this one correlates to basically I like to see how many orders we're getting. I kind of like to see, for me it's like, okay, I get a couple, it's funny how the site kind of works, is sometimes a couple days will go by and not an order, and then like within like 10 minutes I'll get a couple orders back to back, which I always found pretty unique. And so this is a good way for me to kind of see, it's like, okay, what's the flow of orders like, how many days in between, that kind of thing. And obviously I get updates on my phone and whatnot as well. But here it's really nice, so I could click on the order number, say for that first one, Jessica, click down, and in there we'll get all the details of the order. So she ordered this ring, it's this size with this engraving, it's our standard 2-day shipping and whatnot. So we'll take all that information, we'll go into our dropshipper backend with my account. We'll put it all in, type it all in correctly, double check it, because it's, if they have engraving, we always have to double check, and then input it that way and ship out. And then so it gets shipped directly from them to the customer, and customer gets it, receives it. And if for some reason the customer wants to return it, which we've only had a couple actual real returns, we're like refunding their money. A bulk of our returns are people with the wrong ring size. So if they have the wrong, so say they thought they were a 7, but they're a little bigger, right? So they get it and they need to return it. So they ship it back to our drop shipper. Once they receive it, they let us know. We give them the new information, then they ship it back to the customer. So, and when that happens, it's all under our guarantee. So customer doesn't, they just have to pay for shipping actually, to get it back and forth. And if they did engraving, then they have to re-engrave it, obviously. And then I don't know if I talked about earlier, but our guarantee on the site's 40-day, I believe, so they can return it and get a brand new ring anytime within that. And that's our dropshipper agreement, and dropshipper just sends it back out. They pay for shipping though, the customer, and yeah, I think that's pretty much, and that 40 days for our refund as well. And then we also have a lifetime guarantee, I believe, within the dropshipper too. So I mean, I can answer any of those questions if people want to know about them. But yeah, so that should be it for that slide. Our blog. So we used to have a blog on Tumblr. We still do. We still have it there. Sometimes we'll just post it on there just to kind of keep it mature. But the bulk of what we have is on our blog on our site. So if you go on our website, at the bottom, the top left and at the bottom, you'll see our blog tabs. This is where we try to generate the content that's relevant to the industry, alt tag the images, tag it with certain key phrases. Sometimes we'll drop links in there for, like, if we're talking about a rustic wedding or something like that, we'll drop a link in there for like our rustic ring, which would be like a wood ring, right? So that it points back to our inner page for the wood ring. So that seems to be doing pretty well for us. But this is the platform on BigCommerce for us to upload pictures, titles, content, put tags on it and whatnot. So that's what you're seeing right here. Next page. That's blurry. This is one of the ads. That is the ad we're talking about on Facebook. So the ad talks about you've picked the date, you've picked the venue. Now it's time to choose the ring. I think that's what my language was saying. So it's all about the Kona ring, which is a Kona wood. I think my target market that I went off of on Facebook was people that were engaged and that like rustic furniture. I think that's what it was. I think that's my target market. But yeah, it got a ton of. It's like over like 200 shares. People were just like tagging their husbands, tagging their wives. A few of the comments are like, "Do you like this one?" And they comment back like, "Yeah, I like that. But what about this one?" And so it was kind of fun to watch. I think I learned from that one is I think I should have been more interactive in all these people's comments and them sharing with each other. But I think I was more hesitant, as in because I just didn't know the right way without being just like salesy, but yeah, it came out really well. I mean, a ton of likes on the ad, and if anyone wants to see it, I mean, I can jump on a screen share whenever after this and show them. But yeah, it's done really well. Just on clicks back to the site. So, and you know, it's a super cheap thing to run, and I think it just overall just helps boost a little bit of the I guess the traffic on that side and just the branding. So it was good. Let's see, and then. Yeah, next slide works. Cool. So revenue side.
Yeah, and I'm back.
Um,
I'm back. You
oh,
yeah, I'm sorry. You addressed everything that came in that I
okay.
saw. One came up, and then you clarified it from there. So yeah, we're good. Revenue. Just describe the peaks and valleys here, please.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. So we it's in my mind for like at the year end, it all stays pretty consistent. We haven't seen any like huge growth, and we haven't really seen a decrease at all. We've seen a steady growth since 2000, beginning of 2014, as in our traffic and our orders. Um, I think our biggest thing with is keeping up to date with how we're promoting ourselves. I see a different correlation where when I stop writing content or I stop kind of promote or putting ourselves out there, not on the paid side like PPC, not that side, but more of just the organic side. I see a decrease in sales or whatnot, and we do hit I'd say peaks and valleys for like summertime is sometimes usually the slowest for us. So I think everyone is probably getting married at that exact time, like in summertime, so they don't really need to be buying anything or getting rings or anything like that. And a lot of people are traveling and whatnot. So I mean that's been consistent for the last, I think, for the last 2 years. So I mean that was pretty normal. But that could definitely account for some of the valleys. The peaks, I definitely see a correlation of just how much effort we put into just writing some content, keeping it out there, and then just making sure our customer service is really fast, because we've had a lot of people or have some people just coming in quickly and say, hey, can we do this? How fast to ship and stuff like that, and that's helped us, versus competitors and whatnot. So, but yeah, hopefully that kind of gives somewhat of a clarity to the peaks and valleys.
Okay. Well, and let me turn back here. It stands to reason the cost of goods sold graph looks identical, pretty close. Um, any any chance of getting different suppliers? Any thought of that? Here's a question. Anything that you've done trying to get the products for less?
Yeah, good question. So our current drop shipper, so we have one drop shipper. That's it. That's who we represent. We're their, one of their main retailers. And I like it that way, just because, well, first of all, it's very streamlined for us. We get an order, we know exactly where to go to put it in, get it shipped, and all that kind of stuff. If we had multiple drop shippers, and if someone did multiple orders, then we're ordering from multiple places. They're getting it at multiple different times. Those types of things. So I wasn't too keen on doing that. As in going back to our drop shipper now and trying to get a reduced price, have not done that. Have not approached that. I just really like their customer service. I like how they operate and how their guarantees and the quality too. So that's I just haven't approached that. I've been approached by several other companies out there that give us similar style rings. I have not seen the quality, but give us similar style rings and saying they can do it for if my cost of goods sold's $80 and my retailer for 169, they're saying they can give me a cost of goods off of like for like $40, right? So it's a pretty drastic price. It increases your net a lot. My only hesitancy, I just never gone down that route because sometimes they're from overseas. Actually, most of the time they're from overseas and whatnot, and I just never had the time and energy to kind of test them out and test the shipping and test the return policy and those types of things that you kind of have to go through, and shipping on timing too. We try to set ourselves apart by really quick shipping and those types of things, and quality as well. So yeah, it's definitely out there. If people want to hunt it down and then research it, it's definitely an option. Or even having a couple rings and putting them on there just as a test. But yeah, I have not gone down that route, but I've seen it a lot.
Okay. Some fixed expenses I know, and then some spikes here due to traffic or Facebook ads.
Right.
That's really what we're looking at, isn't it?
Yeah, so our fixed expenses are mainly just the BigCommerce platform that we tie into, domain that we own, hosting, which ties into BigCommerce as well. I run everything to a PayPal account, so we pay a PayPal fee. I've hired out bloggers now occasionally. I do all the blogging ourselves in-house myself, so I guess I'd save money on that. We've hired out bloggers that they're super cheap, but I found that I end up correcting their work 9 times out of 10 anyways. So I just kept doing it. Say the other expenses that we've done is the link building. Those were kind of just trial run tests just to kind of see what it would do. But I don't do that anymore, but if someone's good at that or has a good source where it's, fairly cheap and it just kind of keeps the foundation going, then that'll definitely benefit. And then the Facebook PPC kind of trials.
Okay. Day-to-day operations, an hour of your time is worth more than an hour of my time, just depending on what we're talking about. Concise, just tell us your skill set and how much time you spend on the site a day.
Yeah. So basically, in the morning, check the back end and the emails that come in the account. So it's processing orders. So when the order comes in, just taking that order, going to our back end on a drop shipper, putting it in there, and then checking it off on BigCommerce that it's been ordered and it's on its way, and the client gets an automatic email. And then besides that, I go into the email and check for any customer emails that come in. So I'll probably do that twice a day, beginning of the day, end of the day, and just see people have questions about ring sizes or return request or when should I expect it or things like that. So just typical customer questions, and we can give you a kind of a cheat sheet on that, on typical questions and how we answered them and whatnot. So that's pretty much it. We have an online chat on the site that we actually just leave off, but people can type in and it goes to our email as a customer support. And then we have a phone number for the site too, but we actually never pick up the phone. People just can call and leave voicemails. So I typically, maybe get like, 3 to 4 calls per week. It's usually people that just buy a product and they have a question or something like that. But and then we just end up emailing back and forth and answering their questions. But so I say about an hour a day is what we work on the site with. It could go up a little bit more if there's like something that we're working on, like an issue with a ring and the supplier and trying to get it out quickly or something like that. But yeah, nothing too crazy. To do it, skill set. If you can write emails and answer questions, which we can help you on that all day long. And then just fulfilling information on 2 back ends, which is the BigCommerce side and the dropshipper side. then yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Yeah, we're not on the phone too much, so you don't need to be too personable. But some occasionally a customer will require a phone call just because their questions they need answered and whatnot.
Okay. If you were to keep the site, what would you do with it?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would try to figure out the social media side and how to really capitalize on that. I see a big future growth for. I think the organic side is always going to do what it's currently doing to the site, which is great. It keeps it rocking. But I think there's definitely an opportunity on the social side just from the one ad we did. I was like, okay, that's unique. I mean, a ton of people are interested in it. They're sharing it. They're talking about it. There's definitely a way to capitalize that and keep people engaged and bring them back to the site. And maybe it's running an ad like that and it gets 200 shares and you go in there and offer people discounts for whatever, put discount code Facebook 2015 or something like that. It gives them $10 off or something like that. I think there's a lot of opportunity within there, so that's where I'd probably focus a lot of my time and energy in, and the SEO side too. But I know that stuff can get pricey. So if you're good, for me, I'm not gonna do that myself too much, but I'll just keep working on the content, the blogging, getting on a bigger content schedule because I think that'll create the site a lot more traction. But yeah, I'd say those two elements pretty big: the social side and and just building out my content plan to be a little bigger, more extensive, basically just more posting.
Okay. And that addresses it. Why are you selling?
Yeah, good question. So I've had the site for a long time. I'm actually working on a bigger project right now. It's in the real estate industry, kind of on the tech side. That's kind of was my main background. So looking for capital to fund what I'm doing for the next 6 months, and so I thought I could part ways with this and put it into that. So yeah, that's basically the biggest reason why I'm selling.
Okay. Um, you did a great job, Austin. I'm gonna make one last call for questions. You've been answering them proactively, and I've been weaving them into the conversation. So anyone listening here, should you have a question, please ask it now because we've reached the end. This is me. That's my phone number. That's a cell phone. Leave a voicemail, my email address, and also my Skype. Invite me. Anything you need regarding the site, I do have a prospectus, which will get a signed NDA from anyone requesting it, and then that can be sent to you. The recording of this will be live on Latona's within 24 hours. Austin, I don't see any other questions. You did a great job. You handled everything as it came in or before. That's really it. I'll be in touch. If you would, Austin, please check email as I sent you one during this meeting regarding a buyer and an email address. If you could confirm that was added and send a screenshot. But other than that, you did a great job, and hopefully someone listening to this will reach out to me.
Perfect. Sounds good.
Have a great one.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks.